Hey guys, this is Bob again, and as you can see, we're going to be talking about one of my absolute favorite books from Image, Savage Dragon, #1. I am a big Erik Larsen fan. I feel like that man was designed in a lab by scientists to create the best, or someone who was a comic making machine, and that is Erik Larsen. He is a comic making machine. Um, Now, I quick backstory here. Like, this was one of my favorites coming out of Image, which was wild because I was not that big on Erik Larsen until the Revenge of the Sinister Six that he did on the adjectiveless Spider-Man right after Tom McFarlane had left. Um, so Erik Larsen had the thing where he was following up Tom McFarlane wherever he was going, right? I don't believe that it was Larsen's fault. It was, you know, whoever at Marvel determined that that was the best, But Tom McFarlane left the Incredible Hulk. Erik Larsen takes over. Tom McFarlane leaves Amazing Spider-Man. Erik Larsen takes over. Tom McFarlane leaves Spider-Man. Erik Larsen takes over. Okay. Um, it was with that we see Erik Larsen writing a story, and I have to tell you, right? Like I was into the adjectiveless Spider-Man because I was a big Tom McFarlane fan. I didn't think that the stories were that bad, right? But I don't think that the stories were that good. I don't look at Tom McFarlane as being like a great writer or anything like that. It was for his artwork. That was the main reason that you would you know, read that book. Then Erik Larsen comes in and he's like, fuck all of this. We are going to do this shit. And I almost feel like it was just personal. Like Erik Larsen was getting, and we've heard this later on. Like I believe he's stated this before on like his at one point on his Twitter account or something like that. But apparently he was not that big a fan of David Michelinie, who was the writer on Amazing Spider-Man. And there's been like some arguments that I've seen or whatever that were basically around the creation of Venom, uh, and how I think Michelinie was trying to take all the credit for that, and also like remove Tom McFarlane from it somehow. I don't know. A lot of these people who argue about these creations that they gave to a major corporation, I don't feel bad for them. Seriously, that was like your idiotic move to do that type of thing, and let that corporation benefit off of what you were creating. So, you know, that's on you, buddy. Whatever happens there, happens there. Um, that leads to another thing that happens down the road between Erik Larsen and Peter David, who had this like feud going on in the back pages of Savage Dragon, the letters page, where Erik Larsen would post all of the letters from Peter David and his responses and such and blah blah blah. And I swear to you, I will never understand how Peter David was so against Image in every way. It was just like he was just the corporate ass kisser. And I'm sorry, that really bothered me that he was out to stop creators from benefiting from like their creations. Okay. Um, Image, while they were not putting out the best comics or anything, right? They were putting out what people wanted. Apparently, they were selling millions of copies of tons of stuff. Everybody was making a shit ton of loot from going to Image and doing this. So it just, I don't know. I remember there was a debate and everything with between Peter David and Tom McFarlane, and I just did not understand the hate on Peter David's side. Only to find out that like later on, like he goes through a divorce and had like maybe some medical issues, and he ends up being broke, and he has to do like a GoFundMe in order to get money to pay for these medical issues because like he lost everything. And I'm just like, I feel like if he had gone over to Image to produce a book, he probably would have like fucking made a shit ton of money. From what I understand, they were offering these writers all of this money to come over because they wanted writers at that point. They were like, come on over here and we'll make you rich, and you can help us out, we'll help you out and all of that. It didn't happen. But anyway, I'm going off. So anyway, these are actually brand new to me. I just purchased these the other day. I was lucky to come across them. The original copies that I purchased way back when in 92, 93 were destroyed in a fire. So I don't have them. I have been collecting the Savage Dragon archives, which I do like. But that was the way for me to get all the back issues. It was a more plausible way than trying to go back and purchase all the comics that I had missed. But I believe at the time when I was reading Savage Dragon, I had gone up to issue, I don't know, probably issue 50 before I started dying off on it, because that's when the fire took place. And then it was just like, well, okay. Looking back on it, I feel like now I could have gotten a lot of those issues without any problem, but whatever. So anyway, we start this on a nice, beautiful splash page here. I want to also call out here, Gregory Wright. I did a video on Spider-Man, Adjectiveless Spider-Man number 16, Todd McFarlane's last issue of Spider-Man, where we had Gregory Wright as the colorist. And Gregory Wright had been doing the colors, I think, ever since Spider-Man number 5. And his colors were just amazing to me. I fucking love this guy's colors. He was not brought over to Image. Like, we had Todd McFarlane working with Steve Oliff, and then Steve Oliff becomes the guy to do coloring for like all the Image books. It's like that's the guy you wanted to have. I'm sure that guy made a killing doing those books. But here we have Gregory Wright, and you can see it like on the first page, man, the colors pop. Like, it's all perfect choices in every direction. We're not getting much of the digital separations that you would get later on. We're getting more of what we would have seen in the Adjectiveless Spider-Man, almost the same kind of coloring, because again, that was Greg Wright. So here we go. We have Savage Dragon jumping after this guy, whose name escapes me, Killraiser or something like that. But this is a beautiful splash page, and then we go straight into the double splash. This is I do this myself. I've modeled what I do off of the way that Erik Larsen does it, because again, if you want to learn comics, Erik Larsen is the guy to learn comics, to learn storytelling, to learn page layouts and such. It is Erik Larsen. He is the man to do that. We have this amazing double page spread of Savage Dragon punching this dude, and this girl back here, I think maybe Glowbug might be her name. It has actually been a while. I haven't reread this, but I have read these comics a lot, so I'm pretty much going to remember most of the storyline that goes on here. But Killraiser here is fighting back, and she jumps on the back of Savage Dragon, like, leave him alone, and he just throws his fist back there right into her face. Yeah, it's Glowbug, and knocks her off, as we can see here, while Killraiser is jumping up and kicking Savage Dragon in the face. Savage Dragon headbutts with that deadly fin. I feel like this picture right here should have been just this guy's head being cleaved into by the dragon's fin. Because that thing, it's deadly. Come on, look at it. But anyway, he headbutts him, punches him, knocks him out. All the action going on in these pages. It just starts off with in-your-face action. Everything jumping out at you. Killraiser flies onto the floor, and then you've got Savage Dragon here walking over to this dude and just looking totally badass. And this guy is just like, I'm gonna rip out your lungs for that one. Oh, stinking freak cop, you didn't hurt me. You think you can beat me? You think you should just give up? Let you take me in? I'm gonna gut you, freak. And he goes on for a couple of pages doing, or a couple panels doing this, like just talking to himself basically. I remember that so much from like back when I first got this book. And then we've got so he's like, give me one good reason why I should let you take me in. And then Savage Dragon's like, because I say so. And this guy's like, all right, good enough, you got it. I do love that. I don't know, I've known a lot of people who do this shit talking thing until they get called out on it, and then they back down just in the same manner. So I related to that, and I loved it. And then Savage Dragon has taken out both people in cuffs, and Killraiser's just like, I'm gonna kill you bastards. He's talking shit again, which I find hilarious, right? Uh, and then this dude is like, good job, Dragon, welcome to the forest, right? And then, of course, Dragon's all cut up everywhere, and he's like, you had a bad day? And Dragon's like, I've had worse. And then we cut to before. It says in this little caption, we have Dragon here in the middle of a field of fire. And, wakes up in this hospital here with Lieutenant Frank Darling here, introducing himself, saying that he's with the Chicago Police Department. And he wants to start asking him some questions because, he appeared in a burning field, okay? He asks who he is, and we can see Dragon thinking about it for a minute. He's like, I don't know. And Frank Darling's like, well, terrific. Do you know where you come from? And he's like, no, I don't. Okay. He says you were found in a burning vacant lot. Do you have any idea where you got there? None. Do you remember anything about your life prior to waking up here? No. How come your skin is green? Were you born that way? Were you in some kind of accident? What happened to you? I don't know. All right, they just sit there figuring out who's the president of the United States. George Bush. And Frank Darling almost shit himself. He's like, whoa, okay, there we go. You know something. Finally, right? I feel like these pages, Erik Larsen had this in his head for a while. He worked out exactly like what he wanted to do, in my opinion. Like, I know he had worked on Savage Dragon before, but, after working on comics and everything, and I know how I do it, I'm always thinking of, like, what I want to do and everything to get, my character introduced and all that, and I thought this was done perfectly. Not to mention, I always love the idea of the lead character having, like, amnesia, because now we're going to relate to the lead character because we want to know his backstory as much as he does, right? So that's what's going to keep us in there, is that we're learning with him, and we can follow that journey. I like that type of thing. So we cut to a news broadcast here talking about Super Patriot, right? And shows Frank Darling at home talking to his wife, talking about this dragon guy that they found. They don't know anything about that. And then suddenly the news cuts in and says Super Patriot's in critical condition. And apparently, he's been fighting crime since the 1940s or whatever. But, he was brought into the hospital today with both arms and legs crushed beyond repair and half of his face missing. Doctors say that if he lives, he'll never walk again. So that is our introduction to Super Patriot there, which I think makes Frank Darling think, like seeing that on the news is like, okay, we're going to have to do something. We're getting our asses kicked out there by these super freaks, and we don't have anybody strong enough to fight them. So he's like, maybe we do now, So I'm going to go up to my attic here where I have my new best buddy, Dragon, living. And he's like, hey, dude, so check it out. We're being slaughtered out there. The super freaks are too strong. We don't have the strength to fight them. And they're running over us, What do you say you join the Chicago police force and help fight them? And Dragon's just like, that's quite a burden to put on one man, don't you think? Coming up here with that whole thing that you obviously, practiced or whatever. And he's like, look, Frank, I thank you for getting me a job and for your friendship, but I'm only one man, a man trying desperately to find himself. You're asking for too much, Frank. Please don't burden me with this. So also, in case I forgot to mention, Frank had gotten him a job working with his cousin. He's trying to, showing this here, like, this is a big thing. Dragon could have very well gone down the path of becoming a criminal after waking up in this burning field, not knowing who he is, having the strength that Dragon has. If nobody had lent him a helping hand in the beginning, there's a very good chance that he could have gone down this path, right? At first out of necessity, and then, growing into it later on. And Frank did stop that by, being nice, but Frank did have ulterior motives. Like, yes, I'm helping you, but I'm also trying to get something out of it. I'm trying to get you to fight these other guys. So like he's talking to his wife about that. And he's just like, Mildred, we're losing this battle. There's nothing I can do. I'm doing everything I can. Blah blah blah. Right. So here we go. We're at this warehouse at night where Dragon is working, and then we have these two guys show up. One of which is Skullface, and I don't know who the other guy is, but they're roughing up Frank's cousin. And then Savage Dragon just comes in and he's like, fuck that. I'm going to destroy your hand, throw your face to this wall here. You can't tell me that when Dragon did this to this guy that he expected him to live. You are putting this guy's face to a concrete wall. There should be nothing left but some red pulp, a smear on that wall. So your intention, I think, was to take that guy out forever. But Skullface like jumps on Dragon, and Dragon's just like, I don't think so, buddy. One of my favorite things here is when Dragon just lifts his fist and the guy flies into it, and he falls down hurt or whatever, right? He backhands him, just a bitch slap, throws him across the room. It's hilarious. Skullface is like, the hell is wrong with you? And this was the 90s. It was a different time. This is not a word that I would use. But times have changed. He's like, what are you, stupid or something? You're a super freak like us. You should be ruling this town. You shouldn't be fighting us. You should be our partner, And Dragon's like, you know what? No, I'm going to do one thing, though, and I'm going to throw your butt in jail, right? So this is one that gets me. This was Erik Larsen trying something with the dialogue that I don't think ever popped up again. But he's like, you're dead. Your chest don't know it yet. You just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what the guy's accent is supposed to be. So, it's weird, but okay. It's, I don't even know if we ever saw this guy again. I'm going to stay on the lookout for him when I do these reviews or whatever. But the police are hauling these bad guys away. And Frank's cousin here is just like, damn. And Dragon's like, what's wrong? What's going on? And he's like, what's it look like I'm doing, idiot? I'm trying to get out of here. You just destroyed my entire life. All they wanted was money. I give them money. But now I can't stay here because they're going to kill me. You're stupid. You ruined everything. And Dragon's like, hold on. Get a grip on yourself. I'll protect you. I swear it. Okay? And then we get this nice, all right, so I'm just going to go on the record here. This is not the one I had originally. This is one I have never seen before. This fold-out poster from Erik Larsen, which is badass. I do love it. But this is not the one that I've seen before. Usually the one I see is this one here, is the one that I always had. And I know that the different color titles on here dictated which posters you were getting. So this one's pretty badass. I love this. All right, I'm glad I got this one. And then, of course, boom, whole warehouse is destroyed. Another thing that I'm a big fan of with Erik Larsen's comics is Chris Eliopis' lettering. Okay, I'm a fan of it. I feel like it just works perfectly. I look at this as Savage Dragon lettering. I also like the lettering in the Spawn comics, but you don't get a lot of letterers out there. So, if I have to go off of the best letterers I've ever seen, honestly, I hate saying it, knowing, what this person is and everything, but there was a time, Dave Sim is one of the best letterers out there. I'm only giving him credit for the lettering, then you have Don Simpson, then you have Chris Eliopis, and Tom Warzakowski on Spawn was a good letterer. That's the end of letterers for me. I don't think I could come out and tell you another letterer. Yeah, those were the people that stood out. Those are the people that did something that would make you notice it. I didn't notice anything else ever from anyone else. So okay, we're this warehouse was demolished. It was obliterated. There's nothing left, and Savage Dragon just crawls out of this fire. He's apparently, we're learning. Fire doesn't hurt him. Explosions don't hurt him. He has massive super strength. And he just crawls out and he's like, damn it. I apparently did get Fred killed. But I do kind of want to point out here the thing that gets me. I think Fred was going to be killed either way, which made it weird because they were there apparently for money. Okay. But apparently they had planted a bomb at some point before that because they definitely didn't plant the bomb when Savage Dragon came in and kicked their asses and had them all hauled off to jail. So they had a bomb there waiting that they had to have put there before. Okay. Cut to Mighty Man. Okay. We have another news broadcast and he's talking about the history of Mighty Man. And I'm sorry, I'm going to say this. This was the 90s. And to be perfectly honest, I read comic books before, but I think my knowledge was exclusively around Spider-Man and Green Lantern. That was about the most, with a random comic here and there. Like I remember reading an E-Man comic, and that's E-Man, not He-Man. I had read a Cerebus comic back in the day. I'm going to talk about that in a future video. So, to be honest, I did not know much. I knew your standard superheroes like Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman. I knew all of that. I did not know Shazam or Marvel Man, whichever one it was. And I know that Erik Larsen is a massive fan of Captain Marvel. What did I say? Marvel Man? Yeah, Captain Marvel. And this was his Captain Marvel homage. And I didn't know it. I just looked at this and I was like, man, that's an awesome costume. I did not put two and two together until later on in my life when I discovered like who this was. But the news reporter is going off about how today, for Mighty Man, the battle has at last ended at 4:31 p.m. Robert Berman, the man who became Mighty Man, died. Okay, so again, we're seeing another death of a major superhero on the news, and Frank is seeing this, and there's a knock at the door. So Frank gets up and answers it, and it's the Savage Dragon, butt naked. Now I do want to point this out, and this is going to happen, and it's nothing on Erik Larsen. Like I said, he's doing this, he's putting out this comic, he does everything on his own. But in future issues when Dragon gets burned, it usually takes his body hair off, and he was in the middle of a massive explosion and crawled out of a fire, and he still seems to have all of his body hair. But Frank is surprised to see Dragon naked there, and Dragon's just like, you know what? Good news and bad news. The bad news is your cousin's dead. Good news is I'm ready to become a police officer. Frank is just like, okay, oh my God, all right, come on in. I'll try to get you some clothes or something. And Dragon's, just like, are you sure? Frank's like, are you sure about this? And Dragon's like, yeah, I got nothing else to do. Let's do it. And cut to present day again when Dragon's now a cop. And we have Alex. I can't remember Alex's last name at the moment. I'll learn it again later. But Alex is here being shot at, falling onto the ground, screaming for backup. Get me some damn backup. And then suddenly Dragon just comes out. And he's like standing there above her. And she's like, hey, care to lend a hand? She gives him the scoop on what's going down in the building. There's about 20 guys in that house along with a couple of hostages. They've already killed enough people to, hey, where are you going? And Dragon's like, I'm going in, da-doy, okay? And Alex is like, oh boy, how do you plan on getting, okay, never mind, Christ. So he just like flips into the air. I love it. Again, can I tell you that I love the colors chosen for the sky here. I love that he's got these big honking guns that he pulls out of the trunk. I gotta say, I love the guns that Erik Larsen puts together. I don't feel like these are legitimate guns. I feel like he does make them up, but he knows how to do it in a way where they look like, real guns. They're not, like one of the 90s tropes was just having these weird ass guns, like the way that Todd McFarlane or Rob Liefeld would draw guns. He's got like all this stuff on there, and I think it's just awesome, right? So he just flips into the air, flips through the roof of this building, and drops right into the middle of all of these guys, because what does he fucking care? He is bulletproof, right? So he just starts letting off because this is the 90s and this is what we loved in movies. So we're getting it in our comics too. But he's just shooting the hell out of everyone. But what's wild with that is like we're getting some shots here, but mostly it looks like he's shooting the guns out of their hands, right? Like, look at this guy here. The gun gets shot out of his hand, but he's not getting killed. Same thing over here. Same thing with these guys, right? Savage Dragon gets shot right in the eye, right? And Dragon's like, oh, no, you didn't, right? Shoots this guy in the leg. So finally, like, actually shoots somebody. And he's like, okay, guys, ready to give up. And then we have this dude here with this this woman. He's got the swastika on his forehead to give you an idea of who these guys are. So we're not going to care. We're not going to care if these guys get shot, right? He's like, so ready to give up. And this guy's like, drop a freak or I'll kill the girl. And Dragon's like, wrong answer, motherfucker. And then we hear this, tuck, 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 right? And then this guy's got a bunch of throwing stars in his hand. And he's screaming in pain while this woman runs through. And of course, when he doesn't have a hostage anymore and he's hurt, he's another one of these guys that talks a lot of shit. But then when the chips are down, he's like, oh, please don't kill me. And then we get what I refer to as Erik Larsen's Spider-Man character. Even though I think it's supposed to be an homage to somebody else. But this is Star, okay? And again, I gotta tell you, everything but the hair is what I liked about this costume, okay? I liked the whole setup of it. I thought it was awesome. He's got this thing here to shoot stars. And he's like, you know, this guy's like, don't kill me. And he's like, you're lucky I don't. Nice shooting, Finhead. 23 down and wounded, 0 dead. Plus, I have no doubt that you'd have found a way out of that little predicament that you've gotten yourself into. And Dragon's like, hold it right there, Pajama Man. And Star's like, came to theatrics, friend. We're fighting the same battle. And the name is Star, just another concerned citizen doing his part to help out. Be seeing you. And he just jumps out the window. And apparently, Dragon's okay with that. I guess Dragon determined at that moment that, you know, he just took out all these bad guys, saved these lives and everything. This guy did help out and save the life of a hostage. And then he jumped out, right? So now we have, later on, after this incident, we have Dragon coming out and being hit up by a ton of reporters, asking all types of questions, any questions you could think of. So Dragon just comes out with, look, I don't want or expect any kind of special treatment. I'm just another cop. This city has been held down for too long. It's been taken over by vermin and prey who prey on the innocent. I'm here to take it back, right? So he comes out and he makes his soundbite statement that everybody's going to run in their papers and on their news shows and everything. And of course, you know, the TV cuts off and we see this guy here who's Hellraiser. So, man, who was the other guy? Oh, right. So anyway, so this is Hellraiser. And here we have Erik Larsen's homage to Doctor Doom, right? But, he, you know, he's like, you know, of course you realize this means war, which cracked me up because this was an old, you know, Warner Brothers Bugs Bunny Looney Tunes thing to say or whatever. And we have this guy here. He's like, do as you please. His feeble attempts to restore order are of little concern to me. Now here we also have, I think, the first version of Mako, his shark character, which later on was kind of taken and becomes King Shark over in the DC universe, where people seem to love that character but didn't really get turned on to this one. I don't know. It's a weird thing that, because apparently, like, the person that was hired to draw Freak Force was using this character in that book and then left and goes over to DC to work on another book and then introduces King Shark. So, you know. But that was the end of Savage Dragon #1. And of course, we don't have a letters column yet. We just have Erik Larsen talking about Savage Dragon and giving us a bunch of background from his first introduction in graphic fantasy. And also, you know, they're doing the letters page contest. Send in your suggestions, right? I gotta be honest, this was a thing that I was looking forward to as well. There was a point where when I would look through one of these things here. We're getting this stuff. Or I remember when the first time I had seen one that had Spawn in it, and they said Tom McFarlane. And I'm like, oh, what the hell's that? What's going on with Tom McFarlane, right? And I saw one that said Youngblood. I don't know if I ever saw the one with the Executioners that was done by Rob Liefeld, which ended up becoming, the Berserkers. They made an appearance in Youngblood #2, and then it was a while before they got their own title. But I feel like there should have been an entire book out there that Rob Liefeld drew that he never released with the Berserkers, because he had put out a promo for that book. So I don't know. I just feel like that's out there. I would love to know what happened to it, if that's the case. But we're getting like little images here of Zealot from Wildcats, right? And this is when I liked Zealot, when she had that short hair. Somebody came in and drew the legs on Zealot, because you can see here they didn't finish the hand. I always noticed that when I was looking at this. We're getting our look at Shadowhawk up here, right? The image stuff is just up here, right? Like, this is where we're getting everything. This is awesome artwork here. It is. This is from Malibu, and I feel like these guys, who is this? S. Clark and something Hallbaker? I don't know. Something I'm going to have to look into, but this looks like the things from Neil Adams' Continuity Comics, because it looks like, the same art style and everything that we would see with Samurai and Cyber Rad and things like that. I just remember this chick standing out to me when I would see these books here. And then this guy who I always thought was Magneto for some reason. And of course we have Hawkman here. But yeah, so there we go. So that was Savage Dragon #1. We're already getting the sneak peek at the cover of Savage Dragon #3 right here on the back, right? But there we go. Savage Dragon #1, one of my absolute favorite comics, even to this day. I don't collect the monthly titles. I get the archives when they come out. Because again, it was too much to try to collect all of the back issues after losing everything in a fire, which was just one of the more devastating things that took place in my life or whatever. So there we go, guys. I want to thank you for watching. My name is Bob. I'm a comic book artist. I am trying to build an audience by making these videos and sharing my love of comics. If you like this video, hit like. It helps my channel grow. If you want to see more videos like it, hit subscribe. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time.